So hi everyone, welcome to Springtime Eats with Nonna Gaby. I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm so excited that spring actually decided to show up here in New York for this class. This weekend has been warm. I wouldn't say like it wasn't so warm, but yesterday I was sweating and I had to take off my leather jacket, and today also it was like really sunny and pleasant. So the winter coats are away for good, which I am so happy about, even though we had some weather last week that was not, you needed your winter coat, but I did not wear it. So hopefully I don't get sick. But yeah, so now we're going to put together this amazing meal with all these flavors of spring, and I'm so excited. So we have our chicken that we're going to make, or tofu. So we're going to deal with that first, and we're going to deal with the risotto, and then we will make our salad and our cookies. Depending on how timing goes, we might make the cookies first or the salad first. We'll see. But so the first thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 425. So that's what our chicken and tofu is going to go in for. And then here I have some parsley that I took off the stem. Here are my stems. Just most of the leaves. There's a little bit of stem. There is a little bit of stem in here. And I'm just gonna give it a rough chop. Oh my goodness, I forgot my knife. I'll be right back and get my knife. You make sure you have all your stuff. I have everything. Mine is my big knife. So make sure you have everything and we will get chopping. Okay, so now I'm just running my knife through. And making sure the parsley is chopped up nice and small. And this takes a few minutes because we're going to be using the parsley in the risotto, and we're going to be using it in the chicken coating. So we want it to be pretty small. Honestly, you can even put it on the salad too. I might just do that because I have so much of it. And I love parsley. I'm going to be having a lot of parsley salads this week. And parsley is very good for you. Helps with fresh breath, great for digestion, great for also skin issues, apparently. I've heard great things. So I always try to keep it around the house. I like putting it in salads and dressings, whatever it is. Some people don't really like it. I'm definitely not one of those people. If you don't like parsley, you can make any of these recipes without it. So don't worry. It won't drastically change it. And especially if you don't like it, it'll make it taste better for you. So, and you can use a different herb if you like. Basil would be cool. Now ramps are in season. I went to the farmer's market and saw, it's not really an herb, but I saw that ramps are in season. It's like an early form of garlic, and they're in town. And they're in town. They're in season for it's a very short season. So I was so excited when I saw them at the farmer's market, and I think I almost created a scene. But people were like, "What is this girl like screaming about ramps?" And just jumping up and down in excitement about my glorious ramps. So I still need to get this a little bit more chopped up. I don't know how to say it in English. I'm like, my English language is failing me today. Like I have the word for it in Hebrew. For those of you who don't know, my first language is Hebrew. My mom's Israeli. And so her and my grandma, my aunt would talk to me in Hebrew all the time. So some words, like they come to me in Hebrew, and for some reason, they don't always have an English translation, so I struggle. But anyway, I just want it to be chopped small. But in Hebrew, there's a word for it. Okay, that looks good to me. I have some like stray big leaves, but those can go on the side and I'll put them somewhere. Okay, and now I just have my chicken arranged in a Pyrex. And I didn't do anything to it yet. I'm gonna put gloves on because chicken Hands you need to wash. I'm not in close proximity to a sink right now, so I want to minimize the trips. And also I just got a bunch of gloves, so I like using them. The first thing we're going to do is just season it with salt and pepper on both sides. So I have my pepper and my salt. And then we're going to do a little flipperoo. Salt. And then some more pepper. And then for this spice mixture, and then I'm going to flip it back to the other side because that's the skin side and that's the side that you want to get crispy. So if you have tofu, or the cooking time is going to be a little bit shorter, but otherwise it'll be great. And I recommend using extra firm tofu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one glove off and then put it back on later. Put it on the side, make sure it doesn't touch anything. So I have some coriander, a teaspoon of coriander, and then I'm going to mix all the spices in this bowl to rub on the chicken. So all the herbs and spices. So 1 teaspoon of coriander, and then 1 teaspoon of cumin, and 1 teaspoon of dry thyme. I didn't see any fresh thyme when I was in the grocery store. So we're doing the dry, and then we are going to use the fresh parsley, and I'm going to use a tablespoon. Where's my tablespoon? I know I brought them all out. Oh, here they are. So I'll do a heaping. I'll put a heaping tablespoon because I have a little bit more chicken. Maybe a tablespoon. I just love parsley. Okay, and then I'm just going to give that a little whisk. So it's all mixed. Great. And then I will drizzle some olive oil over the chicken, just a little bit. In my recipe, I wrote brush. You can brush. I'm gonna massage it once I get this on. Once I get my other glove on, and then we'll put the herbs on it. So I'm a person that likes to get my hands dirty, even if I'm wearing gloves. I just like using my hands for everything. So I'm gonna just rub the olive oil onto the chicken skin, just so it's evenly on the skin, and so it can get, like, think about like getting a suntan. You know, you want to get it crispy, and then just sprinkle the herbs over it. Nice green herby chicken. And since I had you by, I realized I probably didn't write this in the recipe, but I might just slice some lemons and like put them in here so they can be roasted. And then you can pick up any herbs that fell off and rub them into the chicken. And then this will go in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes. So I'll set a 40-minute timer. So now I'm taking these off and I'm not touching the chicken anymore. This is going into the oven for 30 to 40 minutes. And I'm just going to cut up part of a lemon. I'll cut up a few slices and I'm going to stick them on top of I'm not going to stick them on top of the chicken because I want the chicken to get crispy, the skin, but I'll put them around. I'll arrange them. So I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. So I just cut 3 slices and then I'm slicing those slices in half. And then I'm just going to arrange them around the chicken because the chicken will secrete some juice, and then so will this. And this will also help help the pan not to like burn and stuff. Okay, so now we're gonna get the chicken in the oven and then we'll get started on the risotto. Very exciting. So So we have some parsley already chopped for our risotto. And this is going to be a lemon and pea risotto. If you don't like peas, you of course can omit the peas. I like things simply lemon as well. But the first thing we're gonna get going is the shallots and the garlic. So you'll need 2 shallots that are right here. I conveniently placed them. 2 shallots and 2 garlic cloves. I'm so excited to show you my new garlic tool, courtesy of my mother. It's very, very cool. And it saves your hands from smelling. So first I'm going to cut up my shallot, and I just slice it down the middle and then remove the skin as best I can without making a mess. And if you notice, I'm putting everything, you can't see because all my herbs are kind of shielding it, but there's a garbage bowl back here. I'm throwing all of my bits away in so that I don't have to keep going back to the garbage can. And actually this is a compost bin, so it's also good for the environment. But it's great to have, on the table because it makes your life so much easier. That way you don't have to worry about it. Oh, where is the bin? Where is my bin at? Okay, so I got skin off part of a shallot. Let's do the other one, this will be easier. And shallots are just, I really love shallots. I love onions in general, and like the whole onion family. But for some reason, I find that I resort to using shallots in a lot of my recipes because they're just a little bit more mild than the regular onions. Sometimes I like onions. It depends what it's for, but for like this kind of a dish that's like light and, you know, springy. And with lemon, I feel that shallots go really well. So this will be an exciting dish. I haven't made risotto in a very, very long time. So it's an exciting day for me too. And hopefully you guys will learn something. And it's really not that hard. It's just something that you have to keep your eye on. And we will do that, even though we will be multitasking. So hopefully it'll all be okay. So I have a pretty large pan, you can see here. And it's totally off, but I'm going to just chop these up in like little, just a fine chop. But it doesn't have to be too fine. And then we're gonna add the garlic to that as well. And then I will add my butter and olive oil. So we're just getting this chopped up and we can just put it in there instead of transferring it, you know, maybe to like another bowl or something. I just put it directly in the pan while it's off and then add my oils and stuff. Because it doesn't take too long for the butter and the oil to heat up. So it just saves, it's a dish saver. But chopping this up. Shallots, the one thing about shallots are like, for some reason, harder for me to chop than onions. I don't know if it's because they're smaller or because they're like, sometimes there's like 2 in 1. A lot of times there's 2 in 1. So it just throws me off a little bit. But they're one of my favorite of the onion family. Okay, last one. Oh wait, no, second to last one. This is the last one. And did you see I have my springy outfit? I'm wearing green and white. Changes. You'll see my outfit changes through the seasons. You know, they get sunnier and brighter. I don't wear a lot of color in general, but when the weather is nice, I tend to make an exception. So I have, your recipe calls for 2 garlic cloves. I have 3 tiny ones, so I'm just gonna use 2 because that's what came off the garlic and I feel bad leaving one behind. So I just smashed them with my knife to get the skin off. And then I'm just peeling it off. It just comes right off, which is what I remember watching cooking shows as a kid and being like, that's amazing. And I'm just cutting the end off all three of them, the like little brown bit. And then here is my awesome tool. It's so great. So it looks like this. It looks kind of like a shoehorn, and it has like a metal holy thing here. And you basically, what you do is you put it on top of your garlic and you rock the boat and it minces it for you. And then you can put another one underneath and that's minced for you too. And so you don't have to dirty, like a lot of times I don't like chopping garlic because sometimes I'll grate it on the microplane. It makes my hands smell and I don't want to have to deal with that sometimes. So then I'm just like, oh, forget the garlic. But in this case, we need garlic, and my mom was kind enough to see that I needed a tool like this and gifted me one. So thanks, Mom. And Mother's Day is coming up soon, so that doesn't, just a reason to thank our moms and my mom especially for introducing this new tool. I don't know where she got it, maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. I can ask her and let you guys know if you're interested. So now that I have my shallots and my garlic cloves minced in the pan, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm just gonna eyeball the olive oil, and then 2 tablespoons of butter. You can tone down the butter if you don't feel like having so much butter. It's fine. I love butter, so I always am in favor of butter. And with risotto, it's really great. If you want to tone it down, you can put 1 tablespoon in now and then another like half a tablespoon in at the end. Because like at the end, it's nice to add that final one. So if you're cutting it down, that's just one way to do it. Oops. Okay, now this is really room temperature. So let me just cut it out. Great. And then I have 2 tablespoons of butter. And then I'm going to turn this on to a medium heat. And we want the shallots to caramelize, so I'm not adding, actually, I am gonna add a little bit of salt, but depending on what you're working with. So I was shopping today and looking for a chicken broth. And I didn't love my options. Some options were great ingredient-wise, but too expensive. And some were like inexpensive, but I didn't like the ingredients that were in them. So what did I do? I realized, I was like, oh, I need to get chicken anyway from the butcher. And I was just gonna get a whole chicken and then have them quarter it. And sometimes they take out, well, usually they take out the back and they ask you, do you want the back? And so I said, yes, I want the back. And I was like, I am going to make chicken broth. So I have it for my class and also ready in my fridge or freezer for whenever I want to use it. But I don't add salt when I'm making it, and yours may still have, your broth, even if you got the low sodium one, will likely have some form of salt. So I'm just gonna add a teeny bit of salt right now in the beginning, and that's the only salt I'm gonna add. And then at the end, we will salt accordingly. So this is starting to fully melt, and it already smells good because butter and garlic and shallots, I mean, I could just eat this and be happy. But what we're making is pretty great too. So I look forward to that. So we just want it to, we want to cook this until the shallots are translucent. So not fully caramelized, but just a little translucent. And then the garlic will be slightly browned and you'll start smelling it more. This heat here is just like my special burner. It's so hot. And then while we're waiting for that, so the risotto is going to be a bit of a waiting game. I just want to make sure that you have all your asparagus washed, because mine's washed. And I already started zesting a couple of lemons. So I have some lemon zest on the side. So you can do that while we're waiting for the onions to become translucent. okay? And probably just another minute or two, depending on your heat. Already smells so good. And you can also measure out your 2 cups of arborio rice. And with risotto, the trick is we're going to be adding a little bit of liquid at a time until it's fully absorbed. And then we'll have this beautiful risotto. Oh no, I forgot to set a timer for my chicken. I hope you guys did. I'm gonna go check on it really quickly. The chicken is looking good. I'm going to set, now that I remembered, I'm going to set a 20-minute timer. I don't think it's been more than 10 minutes, but it looks, I'll set a 15-minute timer and check it in 15. And then we'll be halfway done with our risotto. Anyway, okay, so now my garlic's starting to brown, the shallots are becoming translucent, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my rice in. What, you're adding your rice in the water? Yes. So I'm gonna add the rice and we're gonna stir it in here until it gets nice and toasted. So this is 2 cups of arborio rice. And you just want to coat the rice in the butter olive oil mixture till it's all glistening and shiny. Like you're putting, like when you go in the sun. I mean, I don't do this, but I used to do this when I was younger. You want to put oil to get a tan. So it's that kind of thing. You want to oil up the rice so it's toasted and fragrant. So just make sure every kernel gets a little bit of the olive oil butter action. You don't want to leave anyone out, make anyone feel bad. Okay, that looks good to me. And then we are going to add a 4th cup of a dry white wine. If you don't want to use wine, you can skip to the broth. But it's just a little bit, and I have a nice organic wine. I don't know exactly what it is because it doesn't say, it's not like a Chardonnay or something that sticks in my head, but I went to the wine shop and I asked them about wines, and they said, I told them I wanted something organic, I wanted something dry for cooking. And they ended up handing me my favorite go-to organic white wine. So it was a happy camper. And once you add the wine, we're just gonna keep stirring. So it's a lot of stirring. It's arms day. So if you haven't worked out your arms in a while, we'll do it now. Just until all the water or the liquid has absorbed into the rice. And mine's all kind of already absorbed, but there's still a little bit. I'm gonna lower my heat a little bit. You burning out? No, you're okay. And then we're gonna slowly add in the chicken broth. So a little bit at a time, not too much. So I'm gonna have I have my homemade chicken broth, and then we'll get going. So, this is what 6 cups of chicken broth looks like. So I'm gonna do this in thirds. Okay. And you want your heat on a medium low. Oops, my heat went out. That's not good. And we're just gonna keep stirring every so often. So this whole process takes about like 30 minutes to get everything absorbed and to get the rice to a cooked and like soft consistency. And some people like their rice al dente, some people like it not, like on the softer side. Let me put this on a napkin so I stay clean. And then in the meantime, while we're waiting for this, we're gonna stir it occasionally. We're gonna need some lemon juice for this recipe, and we will also need it for our cookie recipe, and we will also need it for our asparagus recipe. So we got a lot of lemony things going on. So I'm gonna start juicing a lemon while I'm waiting for the water to absorb. And what we're gonna need is, we're gonna need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I have a little bowl on the side here that I'm going to just measure out 2 tablespoons into right now. So we just have it ready. And I'm also keeping an eye on my risotto. So I still have a fair amount of liquid from my first batch. And this is kind of similar if you've ever made rice pudding. It's very similar to that too. Okay, so 1 tablespoon. Let's see how many tablespoons of lemon juice came out of that 1/2. 1 and almost 2. Okay, so half a lemon is almost 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to juice another lemon because I know we're going to need more for future recipes. And then this always happens to me. Maybe I should create an invention where this like juicer for these juicer things that the pulp stops the juice from going down into the bowl part. So I'm just gonna juice the rest of this lemon. But now it's pooling, which is not cool. And then I'll just add my remaining bit of a tablespoon there, and now I have that ready. And if you have your lemon zest ready, you can also measure out the amount of lemon zest you need. So that'll be 4 teaspoons, not tablespoons. So my liquid is about 3/4 of the way absorbed. So I'm gonna measure out the lemon zest, and then I will, just wanna make sure this bowl's clean. I'm gonna measure out the lemon zest and then add the next round. So 4 teaspoons. One, let's see, 2, 3. I'm also like a lemon head. I love lemon in every way. So sometimes I go overboard. So I put in heaping teaspoons of lemon zest. So now, and this is just measured out. None of it is actually in the risotto mixture. So now I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the liquid. And you see, like, this was full, 6 cups. I'm not even 1/3 of the way. So I'm adding about 1/2 cup at a time. Guesstimating. And you wanna just keep on stirring it. And you can also see that the rice is starting to get a little fatter because it's absorbing the liquid. Okay, now we can leave that on its own. I'm gonna get my garlic thing out of the way. And then what we'll do is we can start prepping our salad or our salad. We'll start prepping our salad because that takes some time. So I have gorgeous asparagus. Ooh, I put it in this jar, but the stalks are so big and thick. So I'm just gonna lay them here flat. Remove any of my hair from that. And then I'm setting aside my measured out lemon juice, my measured out lemon zest. I'm gonna grab a bowl for the asparagus. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna peel it, holding the end. And so most people know, or if you don't know, the end bit of the asparagus is always tough and usually you cut it off, right? And what we're doing instead of cutting it off right now, we're not gonna use it, but it's gonna be part of the tool in peeling it. So we're just gonna make little ribbons with a peeler, and you want it to be like thick ribbons if you can. So I might change my peeler. No, actually it's fine. So they're pretty thin, and this is quite laborious, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this on the cutting board because it's easier that way. So I just press into it and then a ribbon comes out. And some of you might have a different peeler than this, like one that is, I don't know, the ones that are, the handle is this way, not like a handle, it's a different, I don't know how to call it. But anyway, I can show you, I have one, I'll look at it really quickly. This kind of a peeler. But mine has ridges in it, so I'm not gonna use it for this. You can also, if you want, use a mandolin, which I might resort to, because but you just have to be really careful. Oops, see, I broke it. That's probably where it was meant to break. And then you just keep on peeling the asparagus ribbons. And if you're using a mandolin, be very, very careful. But we want the asparagus ribbons to be, so these are two different techniques you can use. The mandolin or, oops, the peeler. So I'm just gonna finish this one, and then I'm gonna add more, give a stir to my risotto and add more liquid to it. So, and you see you wanna get, so mine got, some of it got stuck to the bottom, which is fine because we're gonna add more liquid and it'll come up. But we want to try and avoid that. Because then it'll become crispy instead of lovely and fluffy. So you just want to keep an eye on it. So maybe like, do want to peel one asparagus and then and then check on the risotto. Keep going back and forth. Okay, so my asparagus end, I have one asparagus end done, and then I'm going to continue. I think I'm going to continue with the peeler. Actually, I think that was my favorite. Ooh, my favorite method, and I think it looks the prettiest. So I'll just keep going. Let's see. And if you're getting fed up with peeling, I know it's like an intense thing to do. for a long time, you can chop it up really thinly, like thin diagonal slices. That would be really pretty. But if you want to be fancy for like a second, this is a fun thing to show off to guests. So once it gets to a certain point, it's hard to peel. So then I'll just go back to my mandolin. And I need to make it a little smaller. So you see, I have one asparagus, check. One asparagus, check. This is fun also, like making ribbons like carrot salad or cucumber salad, but they need to, I don't know if they have like invented a thing for that yet. I know they have like spiralizers out and stuff. So my timer is up. I'm gonna go check on the chicken in the kitchen and give my risotto a stir so that nothing gets stuck to the bottom. And then I will be with my chicken in a second. I may add a little bit more liquid as well. So I'm not even halfway through my broth yet. Now I'm about halfway. This last addition is about halfway. Okay, I'm gonna give it a stir and then check on the chicken. So if you're making tofu, if you're watching the recording making the tofu, you might have to check on it a little bit earlier. I made a note in the recipes, but it might cook a little bit longer. I also like my chicken super cooked, not overcooked to the point where it's dry, but I like a nice crispy skin. Okay, so this is good for now. I'm gonna be right back and check on the chicken, okay?
I have a question, Gabby.
Yes.
Can you please mention again how you shave off thin ribbons of the asparagus?
So you just hold the asparagus at one end, and I put it on the peeler, on the cutting board, and then I just press hard and peel. So like you're peeling a carrot. It's a little tricky. It's slippery. But you just gotta hold the end, and you don't wanna peel all the way from here. So you wanna leave like an inch so you can hold it, and then that part that you're holding, you can toss, because that's usually the hard part that's like hard to eat. So it gets easier with time. Like this is my third asparagus that I'm peeling, and they're coming out much nicer. I'm just used to the movement. And it happens when I do this with carrots, with cucumbers. Anytime I ribbon anything, like the first one, I'm like, oh my God, wait, I feel like I've never done this before. What happened? And then you get used to it. And then at the end, I start using a mandolin. So I'll just chop it. And then you can cut the, you just want to be careful if you're using the mandolin, not to cut your finger. Okay. So everyone, I think now is a good time to check on the chicken, see how it's doing, since I forgot to set a timer. So I will be right back. So I just want to show you all my chicken. It's nice and crispy, and I'm just going to set it aside for now. So the chicken looks good, and it is almost ready to eat. I just took it out, and I'm going to let it cool for a bit. And then once I'm ready to eat or ready to serve, I'll just stick it in for a little bit to warm. But chicken does a good job at staying warm, especially when you're cooking it on the bone. If you're not cooking it on the bone, it may cool off faster. So I just added some more liquid to my risotto and giving it a nice stir. Because it's starting to absorb. And you want to just make sure that if there's anything stuck to the bottom, that you get it off the bottom, and sometimes you may require just like a little bit of liquid in that specific area of your pan, and then just give it a nice little scrape with your spoon. Okay. We're gonna have a lot of risotto at the end of this. Okay, so I am still ribboning, asparagus ribboning. Oh, yikes. Okay, so mandolining, I don't know if that's a thing. Like a mandolin is like, I always think of like the instrument until I had this instrument, different kind of instrument, not a musical instrument. So I'm just ribboning the asparagus, getting rid of the ends. And luckily today I found some great asparagus and it wasn't so expensive. I was actually nervous when I thought about it. It's like, oh no, asparagus sometimes is so expensive. I one time was in a store and it was like $12 for a bunch, but I guess it was either out of season or whatever. So just ribboning it. And this also makes it easy to digest, or not really to digest, but probably to eat raw. And just keep going with the asparagus ribbons. This is like the one thing you're like, oh, can we fast forward this? But I promise it'll be good in the end. And then I'll go back to my mandolin once it gets too thin to ribbon. I think if you have the kind of peeler that is shaped like this, it might be a little bit easier, but I don't know because I don't have that. I have it, my peeler shaped like that does other things because it has ridges. So, and I don't want to do that. I don't want like crazy spaghetti asparagus, although that could look really fun. But see, like mine doesn't look so perfect. Like some are ribbons, some are like little pieces of ribbons. And I have a few more to go, but in between every asparagus, I'm checking on the risotto and adding more liquid. So we're almost done with the risotto, actually. Next asparagus. That's how they say it in Italian. Oh, and if you guys, so I actually had an issue finding slivered almonds today. And I guess I'm not gonna have any almonds on my salad, but if you want, you guys can toast them in the oven. I wouldn't recommend doing it right now because we have a lot of things going on. You can either toast them on the oven or in a pan, but I will give you the cue of when to do that if you're watching, or if you have the, if you're live with me now and have almonds or something to sliver. And you can really use any nut. I think hazelnuts would be good, like chopped hazelnuts, toasted pine nuts go really well. See? Okay.
Hey, Gabby, did you put in your peas yet?
No.
Okay, cool.
I'm still stirring in all the liquid. We're not adding the peas until all the liquid's gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how high is your heat for the rice?
Like a simmer.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, now I am peeling another asparagus. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. So this is actually, you know, you guys thought maybe risotto was going to be labor intensive or complicated, but this salad is, it's not complicated. It's actually a very simple salad, but it is, it just takes time and care. But it's great. It's great for impressing guests. It's just a fun deviation from the norm, I think. And usually I like my asparagus roasted, but this is like a fun way to experiment with it. So same with Brussels sprouts, like shaved Brussels sprout salads. I love that. But my normal way to eat them is roasted or pan seared. And it's fun to have it in a different configuration. Okay. So my risotto's still going. Just giving it a stir every time I peel an asparagus. And just adding a little bit more water. And so the rice is starting to get really puffed up. And you want to make sure you're giving it a stir from like all ends, so you're incorporating all of the rice into the mixture. Okay. Next, asparagus. Let's see, I'm going to try and do it this way. I think I like the peel. I think I discovered that I like the peeler, but I'm getting a little bored of it. So also, if you wanted, you could deviate and make little like slices of asparagus, like this with a mandolin, if that's more appealing to you. So there's so many options for this salad. You just want to, basically you just want to make sure it's like thin enough. So this is a new, my salad's gonna look crazy. It's gonna be all different shapes. That's kind of fun. Okay. All right, now we'll go back to the peeler. Oops. I'm having like an asparagus mess over here, these tops. Oops. All right, I guess this one's gonna have to be mandolin because I got rid of the end, the blunt end that was gonna be protecting my finger. So I'll ribbon the other ones with the peeler. Let's do these on the mandolin. Okay. Oops. You know what? I actually like the way it looks slivered. I might just do that instead. No, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna stick to it. But I will offer it as a modification of the recipe if that is easier for people to do. Stick with the ribbons, or maybe it'll be a mixture of both because now I have both. But we need to get instead of a spiralizer, a ribbonizer. I'm just gonna lower my heat. My heat seems like it's getting hot. I guess because it's been on here for a while, but you don't want it to be too hot because you want the rice to have a chance to cook. I'm just gonna taste it at this point, and you're welcome to too. So the rice is getting soft, which is good. So you can taste it and just make sure, like it is edible at this point, but we're not done yet. So that's good. And so you just want to make sure that it doesn't have such a bite right now, but just a little bit. And just make sure to scrape anything off the bottom. And just give it a nice little stir. Okay. Back to our asparagus peeling tricks. Not getting so many peels out of these. Okay. Now, I'm doing the peel on the mandolin. Sounds like a dance. Do you do the peel and the mandolin? The peel and the mandolin. Okay. And then 3 more. Oh my goodness, we're almost done. That's very exciting. Oops. Accidentally turned my heat off. I knew I heard something go. Or I didn't hear something, actually. That was what it was. The first peel is the hardest. And these are like not giving in to me right away. I guess you have to start like, depending on, I have pretty thick asparagus, so I think they're a bit rougher to peel than skinnier ones, and the part that is, that you discard is longer, so I might be starting too far down. Like this is the part that I have to discard because that's where they've been breaking. And I've been using the mandolin. So you just gotta know where to start. But it's good to have the edge to hold on to, so we have some leverage. Now I'm gonna go to the mandolin, and then I'm gonna go up to my risotto and see about how it is going. Okay. And then we're gonna stir again and again, bring up anything from the bottom. And just make sure that everything is incorporated. So we're constantly stirring this thing. And a little bit more water, or broth, I mean. And just stir that so it gets incorporated. And this is like great comfort food. Lovely for a Sunday night with friends, by yourself, family, whatever you need. All right. And we have only 2 asparagus left. This is very exciting. And we're just gonna ribbon them. And my goal is to finish ribboning these asparagus by the time the risotto is done. So also, if you have fresh peas, this is the time to blanch them. So put them in boiling water for 2 to 3 minutes, just so the starchiness comes out. If you're using frozen peas, make sure they are thawed. So take them out of the freezer. You can run them under like lukewarm water until they're thawed, or relatively warm water. They don't have, because they're like cooked already. You just need to steam them, and they'll heat up with the rice. Okay. And I still have a good amount of liquid in here, so I'm going to move on to the next asparagus. We're almost done. So my asparagus ribbons with this peeler, I think I just have a bad peeler, but if you have a good one, it shouldn't be, the blade should be thick enough. So I might just mandolin this last guy. Gotta invest in some new peelers. Mom. That was the thing. I didn't have a garlic press. So she got me that garlic tool that I now love. So maybe now I can get my own, honestly, but it's more fun when mom gets you stuff sometimes. And moms always want to help because they're the best. All right, that asparagus is done. And then we're gonna add to this asparagus salad some radishes. So I have 5 radishes. That was my recommendation. Where are they? Radishes all the way over here. And I'm gonna actually use the mandolin for them. So I'm just gonna chop off this little end bit for all of them. And I keep this part on so I can hold on as a finger protector. And then we'll discard the radish ends. And then I will use I'm just gonna mandolin this directly into the bowl. And so it's gonna look very nice, pink and green, complementary colors. And just, you don't even have to cut it in half or anything. It's super easy. If you don't have a mandolin, that's cool too. You can just slice them really thin. And that will be fine. There we go. And so mine just look like circles. Great. And the risotto looks like it's doing well. I'm gonna give it a stir after this radish. This is my 3rd radish. I just love radishes. And I don't know if you saw on my blog, I made a whole post about radishes and their amazing health benefits. So they're very, very good for your liver. They help emulsify fats. So a lot of times, like this time of the year, people are looking to detox, lose weight, whatever, summer's coming. And radishes actually help the liver digest fat, just really cool. So that's one of their perks, but you can read more about them on my blog on nonnagaby.com/blog. I think it's /blog, but you can just click on blog. And I will be sharing some more posts with you soon. So I have one little bit of broth left to add in. And then we'll be done. So this, when I'm done with these radishes, we're gonna make the dressing for the salad, which we will season over it in a little. All right, radishes down, asparagus down. And now we're just gonna make the dressing, which is just simple, like lemon juice and orange juice, olive oil, salt, pepper, and almonds. But what I'm gonna do first is I wanna measure out a certain amount of lemon juice for our cookies because we're gonna need it for the cookies. And we're gonna need just a tablespoon. So I'm gonna measure out a tablespoon for our cookies and put it in, I have a bowl here. I'll put it in, actually, yeah, I'll put it in this bowl. So I just want 1 tablespoon to reserve for that because I don't want it to mix with the orange juice that we're gonna use. So 1 tablespoon for the shortbread cookies. Great, okay. Now for our dressing, we're gonna need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. There we go. Oh, and I have a lot more in reserves. So what I will do is, I'll just pour it in here. And then I'll have it in my I'll have some lemon water later. Okay, so here's my bowl. I'm just gonna move that to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Mandolin, we're done with. That's going on the side. This is my little dressing bowl. And then I'm gonna have an orange, and we're gonna use 2 tablespoons, of orange juice. So I'm just gonna cut a little piece of it off. And this one's super juicy because it's an eagle orange. Looks so great. And I like orange juice for dressing, so it's a little sweet. And it's just fun and different. Okay, I'm having the same issue. Let me see if I can actually do it like this. So what did I say, 2? So, okay. 1 tablespoon. I'm just gonna leave that on the side for now. And 2 tablespoons. And then we're gonna use some olive oil. So about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, which is like a little less than a 1/4 cup. I'm just gonna measure it because I have my tablespoon down here. But normally I would just, so that's 1, 2, and 3. So this is the dressing. That is it. Very simple. And if I have my whisk, yeah, I'll just whisk it. And then you just season it with salt and pepper. So I'll do that right now. 3 shakes of 2 grains of salt. I mean, this is pepper, sorry. And then some salt. And you can add more to your salad. But for now, I will leave it there. I'm not dressing it yet because we're not ready to eat. And I like my salads dressed like right before they eat so they don't get soggy, with the exception of a few, like if you're using cabbage or something, because that tends to not wilt. Okay, so my risotto looks like it's needing a stir because the water is cooling at the top, or the broth, and I have a layer of starch at the bottom, so I want to just get that, scrub that off, or scrape it off. And then I'm going to add the last bit of liquid right now. And this is the phase where I am adding the peas. So 10 ounces of peas. And they're just going to go straight in. Oops. Just doing a little house cleaning. They're going straight in. We want to get them warm. But we don't want them to be like, wilt, like too, oh my God, they're the color, same color as my pants. I dressed for the occasion. But we don't want them to get that like musty, weird green color. And now, once it's all mixed, so like the liquid's all pretty much absorbing. And then I'm going to add my lemon zest and my lemon juice and the parsley. So, and then I'll stir in the Parmesan last. So I'm just gonna put all this parsley in. But first I'll do the lemon zest and then the lemon juice. And then we're gonna stir it up. There's a song called that. Stir it up. And you wanna make sure it's all mixed really well so that you don't get one giant bite of lemon zest or lemon juice. So we wanna make sure we're just really stirring at this point. Look how pretty. I love risotto. I'm so excited to eat this. And then we'll make our shortbread cookies, which I'm also really excited about because I love shortbread. And that's really fast too. Okay, so that is all incorporated. Now you add parsley. I'm adding it all because I love it. And the cheese, so about a cup of cheese. I'm going to stir it in. I'm going to lower the heat to, oops, lower the heat and just get it all incorporated. Oh, and like now I have a Parmesan lift to the face. Best thing ever. And then the last and final step, once the Parmesan cheese is melted and you stir this all in, is adding the butter. But if you're not going to eat right away, I would recommend turning the heat off at this point. Yep, I'll turn the heat off at this point because my burner just went out. Which is perfect. It lasted the exact amount of time that I needed it to. So that's great. I bought new canisters, so I have one with me, but the risotto is like totally done, so it's great. I'm just gonna put a lid on this, and then when I'm ready to eat, I'm gonna heat it up on medium low, or no, just like super low, actually. And just add a pat of butter to it. And that will be my finishing touch, and then add salt and pepper to taste. So I'm just gonna get a cover on this. Move it to the front, do a little cleanup on set. I'll just move it right here. And then of course, you can garnish with more Parmesan when you serve, which I will definitely be doing. And now, I'm like eating all the crumbs that have fallen. And now, we're gonna get started on the shortbread cookies, which is very exciting. So I don't need my cutting board anymore, so if you wanna get rid of that, you can. I'm just gonna move it to the side and bring out a cookie sheet. I'm just gonna give my table a bit of a wipe down as best as I can right now with the cleaning tools that I have available to me. So I like to clean, I try and clean as I go. I learned this from my mom, who is a clean freak. And she will probably say that I am not such a clean freak, because I'm not, but I think I do well for myself. So we're gonna get started on the shortbread. So what you need is a big bowl and all your shortbread ingredients. So that's some butter, and that's the first thing we're gonna do is cream 3/4 of a cup of butter with some sugar. My favorite thing to do. This is like how you make. So I actually, before teaching this class, I did a lot of reading about shortbread. And there's so many different techniques, and like every shortbread tastes different depending on the butter to sugar ratio. Also, a lot of people use confectioner sugar. I'm using coconut sugar because that's what I have around my house, and that's what I use, my like sugar of choice. So my cookies are going to be darker if you're using granulated sugar. I'm just going to use, so this is room temperature butter, very important, room temperature butter. If you don't have room temperature butter, make sure you get it to room temperature. And I'm going to use this mixer for the first time. This was a birthday, no, it wasn't a birthday gift. It was a Hanukkah gift from one of my dear friends. It was a Hanukkah gift for Nonna Gaby. So I'm going to start by creaming this together on low. And I feel like my butter isn't even, like this butter's been out all day, but it still feels like it is not totally soft, but it's getting there, it's getting there. You just gotta chase it a little bit. It's still cold in New York, so it's not melting, things aren't melting as easily. I might have to intervene and use my hands. Looks like it. You know what? I think I have gloves handy somewhere. I might use those. Okay. So it's a half a cup of butter. I mean, half a cup of sugar and some butter. But my hands are garlicky and savory tasting, so I don't want to stick them in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a glove and I'm going to make sure it's all incorporated. And I'm also going to bring the rest of my ingredients out. So I have some lemon juice, 1.5 cups of flour, a tablespoon of poppy seeds, just one tablespoon of lemon juice. And these are going to bake for 30 minutes. So I'm just getting my scientist hands on. And you want to just make sure this is all incorporated. Yeah, like the butter is very soft, but not as soft as I'd like it to be because it's still cold here. And even this was out for like the whole day since the morning, since noon. Now it's like what? 8 o'clock, 8 something. This is our last step. All right, so now I have a nice buttery frosting. This is basically what frosting is. Ooh, I might just do this whole thing with my hands because it feels really nice. So you'll have a butter squelchy thing. And if you're making you can probably make shortbread with coconut oil. I don't know if it's a 1-to-1 ratio, but you can try. I will try one day. And then we're gonna add the flour. So shortbread's really simple. Flour, butter, sugar. That's really it. We're adding lemon juice and poppy seeds because we're making things exciting. And I just used a regular gluten-free flour because that's what I had in the house. So you can use whatever. If you have all-purpose flour, if you want to make it gluten-free, I suggested a mix of rice flour and I forget what else. Maybe it was oat. Or just a regular gluten-free flour.
Excuse me, Gabby?
Yes.
Did you toast the almonds yet?
I did not toast the almonds because I don't have almonds, but you can toast them now. And I would just put them in a pan, no oil, and you will just put it on like a medium heat and just watch them. You want to watch them because you don't want them to get burnt.
Thank you.
But like 5 minutes maximum, depending on the heat. So yeah, so for toasting nuts, you can do that right before you serve too. But since I sadly don't have any almonds, I don't know why, they didn't have them anywhere. And I went to 3 different stores. They had regular almonds, but I didn't want to cut them up. Especially because I'm accident prone. Like chopping up nuts is not the easiest thing. Okay, so this is turning into a nice dough. Oops. And everything is becoming incorporated nicely. Oh, I love making cookies. They're so fun. You just want to knead it. Got to make sure all the flour is in there. Oops. Okay. Now I will add my lemon juice and my poppy seeds. I love lemon poppy seed everything. If you notice, oh wait, I put the wrong amount of lemon juice. Okay, these are going to be really lemony. Well, luckily it doesn't mix in so well, so I'm gonna pour it out. Just for my lemon water, supposed to be. Don't do what I did, but you just need 1 tablespoon. And I fear this was a little bit more than 1 tablespoon. So I'm just gonna add in half a tablespoon in here. Yeah, definitely with more. Okay, great. So that didn't mix in. Lucky for me. And then 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds. And it's funny because in Israel, like poppy seeds are a big like ingredient in a lot of baking, and here you don't really see it so much except with lemons. So it's just interesting. Like lemon poppy seed is a combination, but in Israel, like you have poppy seeds with everything. It's like they make this like spread out of it, and it's so good. Okay. So this dough is really sticky at this point. And what you can do is either form it into a log and put it in the fridge for a bit, or the freezer for like 10 to 15 minutes. Or you could do what I do, which I will show you in a second. My gloves are like coming off. Okay. Oops. Okay. Taking off the gloves so that I can show you what I'm going to do. I'm cleaning up a little mess. And then I'm going to get some saran wrap, lay it on the table, and roll these, whoops, roll the shortbread into, or form it into a log on the saran wrap. All right. Okay. So we want to get this all out. I'm just use a spoon. Just scoop it out. You can taste the dough at this point. It has no, eggs in it, so you don't have to worry. And there's just a little hint of lemon, not too much, even though I almost accidentally poured like double the amount of lemon juice. You're just gonna form it into a sort of log and then wrap it in saran wrap and then like roll it out a little bit so it forms a nice shape, nice even shape. And I used to do this with dough all the time and like freeze it so that I would just have cookie dough on demand, and I can just make fresh baked cookies whenever I wanted. It's a good idea to do, so you can do this with half, do that with half and leave it, and then bake the rest. I'm just gonna bake it all because I have other people that live with me and I think they'll appreciate some cookies. And also you can freeze the cookies once you bake them. That's what one of my grandmothers does. So now I'm gonna unwrap this and just roll it like this to get the little divots out of it because it doesn't roll so perfectly. So I just want it to be smooth on the edges, but it honestly doesn't even really matter. I'm just being a perfectionist about this. Yeah, and then I'm gonna grab my cookie sheet. I have some parchment paper. Take it out. And then I'm just gonna cut this into rounds, about half an inch. Well, this thick. I don't know what that is actually. A quarter of an inch, I would say. Quarter of an inch thick. Yes, that is it. So there, you might have to form that like with your hands a little bit because the dough is soft, but it's fine. So you can make one log, a few logs. I think in the recipe I suggest making a few logs. But it's all the same. You can make shapes out of these. It's fun, just have fun. That's the most important thing, is that you have fun. So I'm just gonna keep slicing this and then I'll form them with my hands. So I'm just slicing them with a sharp knife. This end one is a bit small. I combine it with the other end one. Make a bigger cookie. So the thing about shortbread that's interesting, it's called shortbread because it crumbles. So don't worry if they're crumbly. Like, again, in my research about shortbread, that is one of the fun things I learned about it. So these are gonna bake at 325 for 30 minutes. So you wanna make sure they're thick enough. So maybe like between 1/4 and 1/2 inch thick. And they're looking pretty organically shaped, mine, because the dough is very soft. And you want to make sure you're giving them enough room on the baking sheet. And this is the last part. So while you are baking this, you can prep your salad and reheat the risotto, whatever else you need to do. Great. So I'm gonna go stick these in, and then I'll be back to dress the salad and answer any final questions. Okay, so these are going in for 30 minutes, 325. So now we already made our dressing from before. So it's just a couple tablespoons of orange juice, some lemon juice, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, salt and pepper. I'm just gonna pour it over the salad and give it a little toss with my tongs. All of my favorite tools, by the way, are like ones for my mom, and these are for my mom. So the salad looks great, and if you haven't toasted your nuts that you're going to top the salad with, you can go ahead and do that now. It just takes a few minutes, and what you want to do is just have a pan, put the pan on, heat the pan to medium, throw the nuts in, and just keep stirring it, and then you'll see them brown. You really don't want to leave that, because the second you do, they probably will burn. That's always my luck. So now my salad is mixed. I love the pink and green, and then my risotto is ready. I'm going to take a little taste test before I reheat it and add my final pat of butter. I'll let you know how it is. Ooh, cheesy. So good. Also, if you wanted to skip the Parmesan cheese, you could probably add nutritional yeast if you want to make it vegan. Then you would obviously have to use vegetable broth and no butter, but it could definitely work. It would be different, but still tasty. Because all the rich, just like cooking it low and slow for so long, it just really lets the flavors develop. And then you can season it with a little salt and pepper once you've tasted it. If you see it needs a little bit of salt from the, because like you're not sure with these store-bought broths. So it's good. It's better to add a little bit at the end. And then if you have any other last-minute questions, please let me know. I'll hang out here for a little bit after I sign off. So if you still have a burning question and I've already said my goodbyes, I'll be here for a little bit longer, just not on the recording. And if you're watching the recording and have questions, feel free to email me or Instagram message me or Facebook message me. So on Instagram, you can find me at the Nonna Gaby, and on Facebook, I am also the Nonna Gaby. Please like the page. And now my website is up and running, so I will be posting blog posts and updates on any new thing that I'm doing there, as well as all of the medias. So it's just another channel to be kept up to date. And definitely check it out. Thank you so much for being part of the Springtime Eats with Nonna Gaby. I'm so happy that spring is here, and I feel like it came just in time for this class. So it's very exciting for me because today was gorgeous, yesterday was gorgeous, and now I have this gorgeous like green spring meal to eat. And I would love, love, love to see how everything comes out. So if you make the recipes and you post a picture of them, I would love for you to tag me at the Nonna Gaby and hashtag Nonna Gaby. And I would love to see what or you can also email me, but I also love when you share and send me messages about how amazing your meals have turned out and how happy you are. So keep the good messages coming. Thank you for being here. If you're watching the recording or if you're here live, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Gaby.
You're welcome.